Hmm. All right, let's pull up YouTube, see if it's connected. Let's do this. All right, I think we are live. Awesome. Yes, we are. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coffee with Maxim, which ultimately is the last series, last episode of the Coffee with Maxim that I'm going to be doing currently. I'm not saying I'm not going to bring it back at one point. Um, I've shared quite a few updates on my newsletter last weekend, and that was one of them. Basically, we're going to stop doing the Coffee with Maxim just because there's a lot of other projects that we are working on, and my schedule is getting increasingly busier with Fit Vegan and with all the training that I'm doing for basketball. And ultimately, I'm already putting out two full YouTube videos a week, one podcast, maybe 14 videos, pieces of content across like Instagram and LinkedIn and all these other things. So there's already a lot of content going out there. So yeah, in this episode, this is the last one. So let me update you guys on some cool things. We'll talk. I got some things that happened. As you can see, my wrist here got a little injury. So the first thing is, in terms of update, let's talk about the wrist. So um, it's not as bad as it looks. So I was playing basketball last Friday, and I went for a rebound, and I got tripped. And again, it's not intentional. There's a good group of guys. I got tripped, and the cement wall was right behind the baseline at the court, and I was gonna dive face first into it. So last minute, I just kind of put my hand to protect myself. I smacked my head against my hand, which I'm happy didn't leave me with any bruise or anything. But my wrist got banged up a little bit, so I strained my wrist. And then when I went to go do scans, the doctor said I was fine. It's basically, it was strained. I should have this for a week and I should be fine. And then the radiologist called and like, hey, there's a little tiny little line on there. So they want me to go see an orthopedic doctor, which I have an appointment on Monday for, because that's the earliest I could get one. So, but I'll be honest with you, um, it's feeling 95% there. Like every motion is pretty much fine of like doing this. The only one that hurts is a little bit was that I'm at the bottom of the hand like that, which is kind of important because if you're shooting, there's like a flick to it, and it's the bottom part that hurts when you're shooting a basketball. So we're gonna go see the doctor on Monday, but I'm pretty confident that like in a week or two I should be fine, which hasn't really stopped me because I've still been training. I'm still on pace to train 20 hours this week. I've just been doing more conditioning and more stuff with my left hand, like dribbling and shooting and all that stuff. So just seeing the positive side out of it, which is I get to practice my left hand way more than I normally would. So that's one of the updates. The other one is we're launching a new program on Saturday. It's going to come out in the newsletter as well. So if you guys are not a part of the newsletter, I'm sure there's a link in the description down below where you can just sign up for it. Again, it's absolutely free. It literally took me 3 hours to write the newsletter for this weekend. Like I always trying to pack as much value as possible into it with the framing of a story so that you can really understand um, so you really can understand the lesson within a real life situation. So I'm really proud of the newsletter this weekend. And in the past ones, we've been getting a lot of love on the newsletter. So I appreciate you guys, reading them. We have a really high 5-star rating for a lot of our subscribers on the list. That means you guys are liking it. So that's awesome. But yeah, this weekend basically talking about again mindset, because to me that's the biggest part of succeeding in any transformation. Like a lot of people, let's use this as an example. This would be a representation of having a rough day at work and being stressed, and they're going to get home and be like, oh, I have this injury. I have this thing that happened today. Well, I should have whatever, a glass of wine. I should order takeout. I should do these things because I want to make myself feel better. And then to me, when I got this, I basically was like excited because like, oh yeah, I get to practice my left hand and I get to continue to train. Nothing's really going to change besides the fact that I can't do anything with my right hand. And so how you deal with the situation matters tremendously. I see there's Judy in the waiting room here. So real quick, Judy, before I add you, because you're probably watching this on YouTube, just want to finish with the last few updates. Yeah, one other thing, new program, lean muscle and bone building program is going to come out live this Saturday. It's going to be announced on the newsletter, so all the details are going to be on there. We've been working on this for the past 5 months. We've had people go through it behind the scenes. We've tweaked it, we've optimized it, we've made it better so that it met the high standards of what we want to be able to deliver for people. It was matched to our Fit Vegan Blueprint, which we've had for over 5 years. So we're very excited for that one. So just this is not a body recomposition program. Because we work with people that are 50, 60, 70, 80 plus years old, a lot of them worry about, sarcopenia and osteoporosis. So we want to do a program that was not centered around body recomposition, but I was purely focused on increasing the amount of lean muscle mass, and increasing the bone density in the body. So it is, and we do have our main program, which is our body recomposition program, which we're always going to keep because we've helped over 1,000 plus people go through it. But this is a new program for someone that kind of already has their nutrition dialed in, but they're more looking to, again, build muscle and strengthen their bones and not necessarily looking to lose belly fat or not necessarily looking to tighten up. So the program is going to be for those people, just because the people we've been working with has shifted a lot in the past 3 years. We want to come out with a program that would be the most helpful for them, for those people that don't have a body recomposition transformation. They just want to put on more muscle and have stronger bones to kind of protect themselves as they get older, to decrease, risk of injury, risk of, uh, you know, chronic illnesses and all these things. So I was unfocused. Um, so that's one of the updates. The other updates, if you guys are in our Fit Vegan coaching program, you probably saw that we added the option to get a call every 2 weeks with your coach for extra accountability with a Wednesday check-in. So now not only do you get a Monday, feedback video on Monday, you get a Wednesday check-in now, you get a Friday check-in through the message, you get all the group calls per week that we have, you get, more accountability by having a call every 2 weeks with your coach. There's a lot of cool stuff that we've added into the program. And then other update, yeah, Coffee with Maxim. This is the last one that we're going to do for a bit. But another fun update for those of you that do like, watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. Last year, I was doing a podcast I was doing 2 episodes a week. Bear with me as I'm gathering my thoughts because it's literally like 6:40 in the morning, and this is me waking up. You're literally witnessing it as it's happening. We're gonna start, and then yeah, we're doing 2 a week. At the beginning of the year, I was doing 2 for a bit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna burn out this year if I do that, and also I'm gonna run out of guests a little bit. There's a lot of work that goes into finding the guests, coordinating. Like I had 3 podcasts recording today. I woke up to some email. One of them canceled because they had some family stuff going on, which again, life happens. But now I have a massive, 2 hour hole in my calendar. So like there's a lot of things that comes with recording these podcasts. Um, so what we're gonna do is I am gonna continue to post one podcast per week, which is the Wednesday one that you guys love and enjoy from the feedback that I'm getting. But starting in June, we're going to be adding another episode on Monday. And that one, I will not be hosting it. That one, it will be our Fit Vegan coaches. So I've been doing, sorry, these Fit Vegan success story episodes where I interview members that got great transformation in the program. But the thing is, I I literally could record a bunch of these every single month and put them live because we have so many great results with our members. But the thing is, I want to balance it out with, solo episodes with some guests that I'm, like Robert and Chuck and all of these things. Like I'm trying to balance out it just not being a bunch of Fit Vegan success story episodes because there's a lot of cool people that I want to interview. Especially this year, I'm going to go to NHA, I'm going to go to PCRM. I'm able to record some good episodes with some of the top doctors there. So I'm gonna maybe keep like one Fit Vegan success story episode a month where I recorded, but then every Monday, because we have 4 coaches, we're gonna have each of our coaches interview one of their clients that got an incredible transformation. So the coaches are gonna interview the clients that they've coached, as a Fit Vegan success story episode. So that's gonna add an additional podcast per week. So on Apple and Spotify, and obviously we'll have the video version for YouTube. Just bought a bunch of microphones and cameras for our coaches so we can kind of keep the quality as high as possible. So I'm excited for that because that's going to allow us to put out 2 podcasts per week without necessarily me having to deal with all the coordination and all these things. And honestly, it brings our coaches at the forefront because I know many of our members who work with the coaches would like to hear more from the coaches, and our coaches they're freaking incredible. And I love them because they're not necessarily um, in it to have like public praise. Like they don't want to be like, I want to be famous online, have a bunch of followers and do all that stuff. They love to serve, which is why I hired them in the first place. You know, and our coaches have been with us for a long time at this point. We have newer coaches, but they have that same like heart and soul of wanting to serve like I do. I just happen to do this video and podcast thing because I started the company basically. And I'll be honest with you guys, I never expected the podcast to pick up like that. I always thought Instagram was going to be the main platform, but I'm happy that podcast did because it allowed me to improve my confidence on camera. It allowed me to improve how I speak. It allowed me to connect with some incredible people, have some beautiful conversation, and to get to connect more in depth with the guests versus doing like a quick Instagram live or something like, or a Facebook live or something like that. And because a lot of them are not live, they are pre-recorded. There's a lot of conversations happen before and after the podcast where I kind of get to, again, just to dive deeper and connect more deeply with the guests. So it's really, really fun. Um, oh, wow, I can see that there's a fingerprint on my lens, but it doesn't show on the lens. Wow, that's okay. Sorry, I got distracted here. All right, let me see here if we have any questions for those of you that are watching on YouTube. I'm trying to. It's really hard to navigate the mouse with this guy here. Gonna refresh this. So Judy, if you're, I know Judy left. I think she was watching on the live on YouTube. Well, Judy, if you want to come back on, feel free to come back on. But if not, if you guys have any questions on the YouTube chat, just go for it. Um, but ultimately, one of the things what was I thinking about this yesterday? Like I always trying to sit down with myself in the morning and be like, what can I share either in the newsletter or in the video or in a podcast? What can I record with that would be the most helpful to people's transformation? And I'll be honest with you, every time I think about that topic, it's never about, oh, maybe I should show them how to do a deadlift, or maybe I should show them how to do a new simple recipe because there's literally millions of those out there. I personally have 100+ exercise videos recorded on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on YouTube, the replay, if you go on my main page, like all the way down below, there's different playlists for Fit Vegan Podcast, Fit Vegan Success Story. There should be one for Fit Vegan Exercise, and there's 100+ demonstration of exercise videos that I filmed. I was going to film some more this past weekend, but then this happened. So I'm going to wait for this to recover and I'm going to record. I believe it's another 100. My coaches gave me a list of what they wanted so that we can add them to the Fit Vegan app. But yeah, I'm just waiting for this to heal basically. But I do have those on there. And I always reflect back on like, I think, not I think, I know that you watching this who hasn't started on their journey and that wants to transform, like you know what you need to do. Potentially, there's not as much clarity as to what is the most optimal path to get there and how to do it as effectively as possible. Which, fair enough, like you're not supposed to be an expert in this field. Like this is what I do for a living. So this is like the one area that I've studied a lot and that I've mastered, that our coach have mastered. But then if you put me in the context of going to see a doctor to do a surgery, I have no knowledge in that of what should be happening, right? Or if you put me, I know to a mechanic, to a garage, like I know a little bit, but I would not be able to do as good of a job as a mechanic. And I don't know if I feel comfortable driving that car after I worked on it by myself without having someone verify it. So if you don't know, but you know the gist of like you should probably be eating healthier food, you should probably be moving more throughout the day, you should probably be strength training and be exercising, like that's phenomenal. You should start in that direction, but you can start necessarily without a plan, right? And you can start to get moving and eventually you're going to plateau. And that's how it happens to everyone. Any plan that you do, you will plateau on that plan at some point because your body gets used to it, it becomes efficient at it. And then it's kind of like when people go from eating the Western American diet to eating whole food plant based, they lose a ton of weight, they feel better, they have more energy, but eventually they plateau. Eventually their body stops changing. Eventually they just kind of feel normal because their body has adapted to the new way of eating, potentially to the new way of doing things. And so I think like what a lot of doctors are talking about in their book, like the vegan doctors, the whole food plant-based doctors, they're talking to like the mass population and they're trying to bring those people that are eating, meat, ultra processed foods that are eating unhealthy they're giving them a simple plan of action, which is a move more, eat whole food plant based as much as you want. right? Which again, beautiful for those people, right? Again, it depends what you want in life, but beautiful for those people. So all the people that are eating unhealthy food are not really moving their body. We're not talking about strength training. We're talking about like moving their body. Maybe they're just sitting on the couch and sitting at a chair all day at work. They're going to do that, and then they will see some changes because again, we're changing two big variables, which is energy input and energy output, and the quality of the food that you're eating. And people start to lose weight, and then they start to feel better, and their body starts to change. But again, that eat whole food plant based as much as you want and move your body will only bring you so far. And once you get to that point, you have a choice to make. You can choose to stay there, which there's nothing wrong with. Like some people have more body fat on, and maybe they know what it takes to go to the next level, and they don't want to do it. It's your choice, your life. You choose however you want to live it. But what I found for myself and for pretty much everyone that we work with is they have a different standard for themselves of what they want. So once they've eaten whole food plant based and kind of try whatever they could and they've lost some weight and they plateau, if they want to tighten up, if they want to improve their body composition by increasing the amount of lean muscle mass, by decreasing the amount of body fat and visceral fat, by strengthening their bones, by having more stamina, by having more muscular endurance, then it requires a different plan of action. And that's why when you come into, for example, like our program, we're putting a bigger emphasis on, yeah, the quantity of energy coming in through calories, not through volume of food, through calories. We're putting more awareness towards proportions of the foods, right? Like how much protein you're consuming and all of these things. We're having more of a structured game plan for your strength training to be able to go to that next level. And then same thing with your cardiovascular exercise and all these things. Like there's levels to it, and you get to stop to wherever you want. But I have a pretty high standard for myself where I just want to be able to be the best version of myself I can be. And I feel that if I stop at just eating whole food plant based and I'm kind of a little bit like pudgy and still uncomfortable in my body, that I don't want to live like that. Like I know that I have it in me to go to that next step. And yes, it's more challenging because you're literally trying to go to the next step. It's just like in a relationship when it's time to go to that next level. There's more challenges that come with it, but it's worth it. Just like you're trying to build a business, as you scale, there's more challenges, but it's worth it because you get to have more impact. Like, yeah, it's going to be hard. Like, no shit, if it wasn't, everyone would be really fit right at this point. If it was as easy as just going to the store and buying something, everyone would be super fit. Um, so sharing that to say that when I take a step back to reflect on like how can I serve you guys the best, like the workout plan and the meal plan, we can create that for you. That's literally why Fit Vegan exists, right? That's one of the reasons why Fit Vegan exists. But the most important component, I always tell this to people, is like, even if I give you the workout program, if I give you the meal plan, and I tell you this is the most optimal thing you need to do right now for you to get the best transformation possible, and you don't do it, then nothing is going to change. So it's what's happening in between your two ears that you need to navigate. And I want you to understand it's not going to happen, not at the beginning. It's not going to happen in like the flick of a switch where you'll be like, okay, I'm committed to this. And that's what people think is going to happen. They're like, okay, I'm committing to this program. I'm committing to this transformation. And boom, done. Like I'm doing this. And they're switching that flip. And then they start, and then life happens. They get a stressful day at work. Maybe they don't sleep as well. And then they're super tired. And then potentially they have cravings all day because they're tired. Their body is craving more foods that are higher in energy, which usually will be processed foods. And you have stressful moments in your relationship with your family, that you're traveling. There's a bunch of things like people think that once they turn on the switch, that it will be easy to do all the next steps. It's not. Like once you turn on the switch, to me, how I see it, once I decide to commit to something, I turn on that switch. And then I know that regardless of what will happen, I will show up and do my best. I never expect it to be perfect. Right? I expect there to be obstacles, to be bumps in the road, but I also expect myself to navigate them as best as I can so that I can move forward towards that goal. Where a lot of people give up is they not saying they expect it to be perfect, but they don't really expect for those major obstacles to show up. And then when they do show up, or where maybe they're a little bit less compliant with their nutrition, their training, and the weight's a little bit slower, and they're like, well, this is not really working. I'm working really hard. This should be changing right now. I was like, well, you're not working hard enough and you're not being consistent enough. Like there's no there's no fair game in this journey of body composition. Like there's no ref that's like, you've been working hard. You should move forward to the next step, right? Like you should get, I was gonna say ref for a foul in basketball, but like there's no judge that goes like, you've been working hard, you move to the next level. Your life and your body doesn't care. Your body is where it's at with whatever you've done to it for the past several years or decade or 2 decade or 3 decade. If you have a massive history of yo-yo dieting and overeating and undereating, you have a bad relationship with food, you have a bad relationship with yourself, you don't see yourself as worthy, you don't see yourself as someone that's disciplined, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have a lot to overcome to be able to do this transformation. It's not just about a darn meal plan, a darn workout program, right? It's about you overcoming these things. And so as obstacles show up, because they will 100% of the time, and sometimes early on in the journey and sometimes a little bit later on in the journey, but they will always, always, always show up. Because the reason why you have not been able to be as fit or as lean or as healthy as you want to is because there's clearly a mental obstacle stopping you at some point in your journey and you haven't taken the time to overcome it. That's why a coach is important. That's why I have coaches in my life. That's why I have coaches for life, like my Tony Robbins coach. That's why I have coaches for business. I have coaches for finances. That's why I have mentors for, other areas of my life. That's why I have coaches for basketball. I have multiple coaches in different areas that I'm trying to improve because I understand that there's going to be a point where I can no longer bring myself further than that point. And I want to have someone that has done it, that has accomplished it, and that has guided other people to go to that next level, to help me see things that I don't see, to help me understand things that potentially I might not understand at this point. And so that's what's the most important part of transformation. That's why if you read the newsletter, if you read a lot of my posts, if you listen to a lot of podcasts, I talk often about mindset because what I'm trying to do in a lot of those episodes or pieces of content is just reframe different principles because undoubtedly, like when I put out a podcast on audio, it gets thousands and thousands of downloads on it. So that's thousands of people that will be listening to it. Will the story with the framework that I shared it with resonate to those thousands of people? With everyone? Absolutely not. But it will resonate with a portion of it. So the next time I do an episode, I try to reframe something in a different way. And hopefully throughout the years and throughout the months, I'm able to kind of have presented the things that need to be worked on mentally in such different frameworks and patterns that I've reached a large chunk of people. Because again, that's all that matters. Everyone thinks that it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come into this program and I'm a meal prep and do my nutrition and do my workout. Like that's the easy part, right? Like the hard part is getting yourself to actually do it when life is being stressful because if you sleep well one night and it's sunny outside and you have a free day, guess what? You're gonna eat healthy food. You're gonna exercise, and you're gonna feel darn good. But the reality is that the majority of the days are not like that. And I live in LA. Like it's not. There's beautiful weather, but sometimes there's days where it's shitty weather. There's some days where I don't sleep well, and still wake up, and I still have to go and do what I said that I was going to do. Right? There's this. I'm drinking some coffee real quick. My mouth is dry. But I don't know if coffee's not gonna help. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who's still listening, who's gonna listen to all the way to this point, in the live, but whatever. It's the last one. I'm gonna have fun with it. Um, damn, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say with it, but yeah, like at the end of the day, you need to start to get excited when those obstacles show up. And to be fair, I wasn't always like that. Like when obstacles showed up, I was like everyone else. And to be fair, I still have some of those moments where I'm like, oh shit, poor me, and blah 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 blah. Also, I'm shooting the question for on YouTube. Yeah, I'll answer those questions on YouTube. If you guys are watching on YouTube, ask them in the chat there. I see them. I'll answer them after. I was always be like, oh, poor me and all that stuff. And I went through the whole cancer journey with my lead partner. I was like that at the beginning for sure. I played victim mindset for years at the beginning. I was like, why is this happening to us? This is so hard, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like I was waiting for someone to save us. I was waiting for, was the expression, a knight in shining armor to save us. Maybe like 2 years into it, I just had this moment where I was like, screw it. I'm tired of waiting for someone to come and save us. Like, I have to do something. And then so I started changing the actions that I was taking. I started showing up differently. And then I started getting, how can I say, it? I kind of rewired my brain over the course of the years after that to be excited in a really messed up way when my back was against the wall. Because we all know when like life is good, why push? Life is good. You can just enjoy and like be there. Which again, not necessarily anything wrong with it. You have the standards that you have, and there's this whole philosophical idea of like contentment and ambition and want to go for more. And we can do a whole podcast on that. I think that would be actually a really fun one because I think a lot of people struggle with that. I definitely like still have my moments with that, and it's a yeah, that is an interesting conversation. The idea of contentment. Um, But what I'm trying to say is I brought in my brain so that when my back is against the wall, I get like all excited. I get all primed up of like, yeah, I get to go through something. Like I get to go through something hard, but I get to like push and power through the obstacle. And so when I got this, like a little part of me got excited because it was like, yeah, I get to like train my left hand and make this comeback. And for this to be a part of the journey of when I did my whole basketball journey that I'm on, I'll be like, yeah, I hurt my wrist, but I still trained 20 hours a week. I still trained hard and blah, blah, blah. And then I got to my goal after. Like I get excited about the long storyline of the goal that I am after because like this, whatever else will happen, because I'm sure some other thing will happen. If you train 20 hours a week, something is bound to happen. Um, we'll all be a part of the journey. Well, same thing for your body recomposition. Every time I want to do a body recomposition phase for myself, like every time I was like, okay, I'm gonna lean out, I'm gonna do something, I automatically expect for some obstacles to come up, right? That way I'm not deceived when something does come up. Let's just say I have a stressful day. And I told I was like, yeah, I don't want to cook tonight. Like, we're just going to go eat some vegan sushi, right? Because we live in LA and some good spots here, right? And maybe that puts me over my calories or under my protein, right? I'm human too. I'm not perfect. All I know is that if I consistently show up and do the best that I can, like 90+% of the time, I will get to my goal, right? If you don't fail, you can't quit. If you don't quit, you can't fail. That's what it is. Yeah. So I expect there to be obstacles. When there are obstacles, I see it as a test for me to see if I really want the thing that I want. So I get excited because I get to like beat a challenge. That's how I framed it in my head. And so if ever I do make a decision that is not necessarily conducive to me getting to my goals the fastest path possible, I just own it, I accept it, and I focus on winning the next meal and winning the next workout. So 100% if you're not in control of your mind, you will have a hard time with your transformation. Because when I say in control of your mind, how can I frame this? There's this sentence, and I'm gonna change it to not swear because the original saying has swearing in it. But it was basically um F your mood. So screw your mood, follow the plan. All right. Like you can feel like shit and still go and work out. Right? You can be stressed and have a hard day at work and still eat the healthy food. It's just as a society, I think we've been so conditioned to when we're uncomfortable, we have to do something about it to make ourselves feel comfortable. When we have this feeling of, I want to have this food, it feels so uncomfortable that we give in to the feeling of like trying to do something to make ourselves feel comfortable. Everyone's always running away from pain and uncomfortability, like to the extreme. Drug users or people that abuse alcohol. That is basically what that is. But people are doing the same thing with food. They're doing the same thing with their action in not exercising, right? And so when you have a mood or a sensation inside of like, I really don't want to work out. I really want to eat this pizza or this ice cream or blah blah blah. Like you do have the choice to not do it and to go do the opposite thing. Like no one is forcing you. I think just people are so quick to try to make themselves feel better that they just give in to the uncomfortability of the feeling, right? I'm just pointing here because that's kind of where I feel it when I feel uncomfortable. It's like middle of my chest. But sometimes I'll just sit and I'll be like, I don't want to work out today. It's my second workout of the day. This is like my 10th workout of the week. And I'm like, my legs are tired, my body's tired. And then I know in my head that I know in my head I'm still going to go. Like I won't miss a workout just because that's my own rule for myself. Even after this, I was back in the gym the next day and I got a left hand. I got to train the left hand. But I know I'll just sit here and it's just a matter of like when I'm gonna go and do the workout. And a lot of times, like this feeling of like heaviness and uncomfortability in your body, be like, oh, I really don't want to go, and you're like, I'd rather lay in bed or sit on the couch and be comfortable. And then I see myself and I get myself to stand up with that heaviness of like a body that already sat on the couch after a long day of work. Like I'll get up with just all this heaviness and this like this comfort of like if I was already sitting on the couch about to relax and I'm gonna get up with it, I'm gonna sit in my car with it, and I'm gonna drive to the gym, and then I'm gonna do my warm up, and then I'm gonna feel good, and then I'll do the rest of my workout. Like it is again, you have to practice doing an action against a certain mood that you have, but it's a muscle just like anything else. The more that you train it, the stronger it becomes. But the thing is, people are not willing to go through the reps, not necessarily because they don't want to, because I know that everyone really deep down inside would like to be healthier and to be fitter, but it's because it's uncomfortable. And I think the world has an issue with being uncomfortable. Everyone's so darn sensitive. Everyone always has to do something about the fact that they're uncomfortable. Like sometimes you just feel like shit and you just have to be like, okay, I feel like shit. So what? Am I going to stop living because I feel like shit or I feel stressed? No. Like think of, for those of you that, just because I was a caregiver, that's kind of where I'm pulling the experiences from. But if you have kids, or if you're caring for your partner, if you're caring for a parent, like you don't always want to show up with a happy smile on your face and be, be super happy. Sometimes you feel terrible, you feel tired, you feel sluggish, but you still show up because you love the person. You have to learn to do that for yourself. And that's very hard, right? We're so much better showing up for other people than we are for ourselves. But you have to learn to show up for yourself. Um, yeah. Anyways, having fun. It's fun little conversation this morning. Okay, let me read the comments here. I got a nutrition coach certification with Dr. Furman. Nice. He just came to lead a training for Fit Vegan members last week. Which other coaching programs do you recommend? I want to further my career and knowledge. Um, it depends what you want to coach in. If you want to coach in nutrition, um, so how can I say this? So for me, like if you're gonna start a business and you start coaching other people, you need insurance to a certain extent. So grab a certification that would actually allow you to get insurance. To me, that's kind of like a higher level of credibility. So again, Dr. Furman's a great guy. I have no idea what his nutrition coaching certification is like, but get one that will give you the credentials to actually start a business and start coaching people. And usually the certifications that do that will actually teach you everything properly so that you can actually like serve people. You get a ton of certifications all you want if you want to. Um, but yeah. And then the other thing is once you have that certification and that degree or that whatever that piece, man, just start coaching because I'm gonna tell you something. I did my personal training certification and I learned peanuts compared to how much I've learned from having coached 1,000 plus people. There's certain things, there's a lot of things that you will learn through coaching people that you won't learn in your course. And so yes, you want to learn the basic foundations of coaching someone with nutrition, phenomenal, that's great. But then you're going to understand that the game is not about necessarily like, hey, you should eat X amount of kale and spinach and bananas per day. It's how do you get the person to eat the kale and the spinach and the banana. That's why this whole talk was about this morning. But yeah, start coaching. You're going to learn once you have your proper certifications and you actually in the clear to do that. Start coaching. That's going to be the best way for you to further your career and your knowledge. And if you see a new course that pops up that interests you, right? Because as you learn more, you realize how much you don't know anything. And then once you learn something new, you'll be like, oh, I'm curious about this aspect of this new knowledge that I got. And then dive deeper into that, get a course into that. But at the end of the day, if you want to start coaching and serving people, just start. Don't overthink it. Because I know people with like freaking 2 degrees and maybe 10 certifications that have helped maybe 5 people, right? I have a personal training certification and I'm just an entrepreneur and I've hired a team of experts, right? I thought to myself at the beginning of Fit Vegan, I was like, I can go to school and become a holistic nutritionist. I can go to school and become a doctor. And like, great, in like a decade, I'll be able to help people. Or I can just build a team of incredible coaches and nutritionists and doctors to be able to serve people now. So it's totally up to you, however you want to do it. But I didn't want to wait to start serving people. That's why I built a team around me. Gene, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having an awesome start to your day. All right. Let me see here. So, yeah, like I said, guys, this is the last coffee with Maxime. If there's no more questions, we're gonna wrap it up here. Just because I gotta go to the gym, record. Was it this morning? I think it's plyometrics workout, and then shooting, and then strength training this evening, and then I had three podcasts to record today. One of them canceled, so I got two podcasts recording today. One with our coach Hélène, and then the other one is with Patrick, one of my clients that I helped transform. He went from like just skinny fat, a little bit overweight, to now he has a six pack in his 40s, and he's super excited. He looks phenomenal. So I'm excited for this interview to go out. And Squirrels, Charmander, you're awesome. You're very welcome. Yeah, if you guys want to talk about other things in training nutrition, like I'd love to. Like I talk about relationship and finances and business with other things. Um, yeah. So I hope there are some more opportunities in the future to ask you questions live. Hey, I might go live on YouTube at some other time. It's just a like consistent schedule. In the morning is the thing that's a little bit harder because we're going to start traveling more with some of the conferences that we're sponsoring and all of these things. So the best way I would say is like, obviously you're watching this on YouTube. So when you subscribe to the channel, there's a little bell icon beside it. If you click on that, it will notify you when I post a new video or when I go live. And then that's probably going to be the best way. So if you turn that on, whenever I do go live, you'll be notified on your phone or your computer, and you can just jump on and ask questions. Also, the other way is, if inside of our Fit Vegan coaching program, I get a training every single Friday for everyone, so people can come and ask their questions on there. But yeah, if not, turn on your notification bells, and then that way you'll be notified, and then subscribe. That way the video pops up on your feed. Yeah, I like to hit like, again, it's a big goal, but if I don't hit it, I'm gonna be darn close to it. I like to hit 50,000 subscribers this year. We've already grown a lot since the beginning of the year, since I started putting an emphasis on YouTube. So if you guys aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel for multitude of reasons. One, just selfishly, I have a goal of hitting 50,000. It's just a random number that I've selected for myself. And two, there's a little bit of a game to having certain guests on the show. They want to know how many downloads you have, how many subscribers you have, like to make sure it's worth the time of the guests. And so in order for me to have bigger guests, I need to have bigger numbers. And so that's why you haven't seen some people on the channel, is for that reason. And so, yeah, if you subscribe, it really helps me out. That way I can have some, I can go to the guest and be like, hey, I have the metrics. Let's book a show, basically. So, guys, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much for watching the last Coffee with Maxim. I'm going to go and work out for workout number 1 of the day. If you have any questions for me, ask them in a comment section below once this video is in the replay mode, because I do read the questions and I do take time to answer them every single week. So if you have anything for me, ask them down there. If not, check me out on Instagram. And if you're interested in working with us, just book your call at fitvegancoaching.com, whether it's for our Fit Vegan Body Recomposition program or our brand new Lean Muscle and Bone Building program. Same thing, you have to book a call. We just want to make sure that we can actually, serve you and that you're a good fit. It's a bit of filtration process to the program. So hope you guys have an incredible Thursday. Thank you for jumping on the last Coffee with Maxim. And I will see you on Saturday. I did a cooking video with my amazing wife, Ivy, where we cooked the Filipino dish, vegan adobo. It was really good. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this recipe. All right. Enjoy your day. Bye.